Next on Proof. Wars have been waged over the right to individual freedoms. Democratic societies are based on the power being with the people. But is it really? Or are there secret societies, like the Illuminati, who actually control everything? In democratic societies, lightning rod issues like immigration, abortion, and gender identity divide political parties into different camps, and then the voters align themselves with the camp that best represents them. Then they try to vote that party into office, hoping it will advance their issue. In other words, we believe we have a voice in influencing policy. In fact, the United States was founded on the idea of such a system. President Franklin Roosevelt said, "Let us never forget that government is ourselves, and not an alien power over us." The ultimate rulers of our democracy are not president and senators and congressmen and government officials, but the voters of this country. But what if FDR had it all wrong? What if there were secret societies made up of the powerful, who actually pull the strings of celebrities, politicians, you and me, and we are all just puppets, and that democracy is a lie? Do secret societies rule the world? The dictionary defines a secret society as an organization, as a fraternal society, the members of which take secret initiation oaths, share secret passwords and rights, and are bound to assist each other. But many people don't think these organizations are just doing secret handshakes. They think they are secretly pulling the strings to rule the world. The oldest and most well-known of these groups is the Illuminati. Founded in 16th century Bavaria during the Age of Enlightenment, the Illuminati was one of the earliest secret societies. It opposed religious influence, superstition, and abuses of state power, while championing independent thought and truth.
The actual organization had no more than a few thousand members in German-speaking areas of Central Europe. They were suppressed and basically put out of business by the late 1780s, so that we're talking here about an organization which was A, never very large, and B, which had an effective existence of perhaps 12, 14 years at the most.
However, since that time, the Illuminati's mythology has grown, having conspiracy theorists link the organization to virtually every historical event, from the French-American Revolution to the rise of communism, and even America's Great Depression. Where the Illuminati conspiracy flourishes today is with the belief that the Illuminati has infiltrated Freemasonry. The Freemasons are a fraternal order that trace their roots back to the stonemasons of the 14th century. Today, they aren't as much about cutting stone as about meeting for secret rituals. Conspiracy theorists believe that the Freemasons, and thereby the Illuminati, practice an occultic religion, worshipping their own god they call the Great Architect of the Universe, who is a combination of Baal, Yahweh, and Osiris. The Christian and Egyptian influence can be seen on the back of an American $1 bill. Here, one of the Masonic symbols, the Eye of Providence, a symbol of God watching us, is combined with the Egyptian pyramid. Strange symbols on American currency, as there are no pyramids in the United States. That eye has led people to believe that the Illuminati and Freemasons rule the entertainment industry, and to be successful, you have to join them. Conspiracy theorists point to the number of photos of celebrities covering one eye as a secret nod to their Illuminati connections. Look at this post from rapper Takeshi69, where he thanks the Illuminati. Here is an internet personality, Michael McCruden's personal account.
Hey guys, welcome to Famous Entertainment. Now you may be coming here because you watched my Alex Jones After They're Famous, and I told you I was gonna read you out some DMs I got from the Illuminati. This isn't a joke. I get lots of weird shit, lots of people watch these videos, they hit me up. This is one of the strangest. Now the guy's name is Lord Morgan. We'll put up some photos of good old Lord Morgan for you guys. Gonna read you out his messages. Hi, I'd like to introduce you into our organization. Will you be part of the Enlightenment? Sometimes brands hit me up. This was a little more tempting. I was like, woo, what do you got? I went, sure, can I film it? All of a sudden I'm thinking I can make like a documentary out of this. This could be something cool. And he writes back, well, it's the New World Order. And he explained it for me, thank God. All right. It's the conspiracy theory to dwarf all conspiracy theories. A smorgasbord of every other intrigue under the sun. The Illuminati are the supposed overlords controlling the world's affairs, operating secretly as they seek to establish a new world order. To become a member of the Illuminati, you must be self-perpetration and you must avoid corruption. Also, you should be intelligent or, however, we will enlighten you, no worries about that. Fuck you.
So, is the Illuminati the secret to Hollywood success, or just an inside joke that people are perpetuating? Whether in existence or not, the Illuminati has a lot of exposure. A not so secret society. Next on Proof. What about organizations who have a lower profile, but perhaps a longer reach? We've just seen how the Illuminati began and the possibility that they are still in existence, maybe controlling our entertainment industries. But what about government? Most people believe that the United States rebelled for individual freedom. A not so poetic truth, however, was that it was largely about money. Following the French and Indian War, Britain needed a way to raise money to pay for its war debt. They decided to force several taxes on the US colonists, including the Stamp Act of 1765 and the Townshend Act of 1767. These taxes included taxing all imports, including tea, which was an important part of the British colonists' culture. This led to the Boston Tea Party of 1773, where frustrated colonists dressed up like Indians and dumped chests of tea into Boston Harbor. No taxation without representation became a battle cry that rallied Americans around the notion of governing themselves. They needed the ultimate say in their destiny, which meant control of their own money. And that has been a recurring theme ever since. Controlling money means power. Is it possible that if secret societies really run things, that they don't care as much about your personal freedoms? Do they only care about money and power for themselves? For some, the path to power starts at an Ivy League school, and if you're lucky, you may be invited to Skull and Bones. Skull and Bones is a secret society at Yale University. Started in 1832, only 15 students are hand-selected every year to be a part, and only if you are seen as a leader or have notable accomplishments. But since its inception, it's been surrounded by conspiracy theories, and that it is a breeding ground of world leaders of industry and politics.
They're a secret society. I mean, you know, they try and say, "Oh, we're just a fraternity" or stuff like that. No, but they are the classic definition of a secret society. And if you look at them through sociology, secret societies are the same all over the world. You've got an outer layer that are good for favors and window dressing. In Masonic circles, they call them porch brethren. Then you have an administrative cadre, because at any time you have people who turn the lights on and turn the lights off. And then you have a core group. And And the core group at Skull and Bones, they're all related. At any secret society, the core group is all related. They're all cousins. Skull and Bones is built around the Cabot family with a very strong substanding of the Whitney family. They believe by killing people, they get power. They do huge amounts of psychological warfare against us. Most of our election cycles have not been about, will my vote with a bunch of other votes elect a person? Okay, these elections have been controlled for quite a while, and they're about polarization. They're about polarizing us, getting us into different camps so that we don't like those people over there and they don't like us, so that we're just fighting each other.
Well, you've got the class of 1917 Skull and Bones. I think about half of them went to work for Averell Harriman's Brown Brothers Harriman. He's, of course, from the Whitney family, as you pointed out. That's where Prescott Bush comes into the picture, the Walker side of the family, and a lot of other notable Skull and Bones people. And they were involved in the Soviet coup, they were involved in backing the Nazis, and a whole lot more.
Is Skull and Bones a fraternity for world leaders? Where do they meet after university has ended? Welcome to Bohemian Grove. Tucked away in Monterey, California, is a 2,700-acre plot of land known as Bohemian Grove. This secluded ranch hosts an annual gathering for the world's rich and powerful men. Mysterious things seem to happen here.
I was told that we couldn't go in the street because they don't want anybody to get hurt. My response was, people get hurt every day because of those people up at the Bohemian Grove.
A few people are aware of its existence, however. What do Bohemian Grove members say? Here is Alex Jones interviewing presidential advisor David Gergen.
I read a Washington Times article many years ago where you had a comment about the organization, and then now it's been in the Wall Street Journal, it's been in a lot of different newspapers, and that's the Bohemian Grove. And back in, 1996, when you joined as a Clinton advisor, the Republicans were criticizing you. Oh, what about Bohemian Grove? And then you countered them by saying, "Hey, I don't run around in the woods naked." What did that mean? Here is the before-mentioned Washington Times article where he said, "I didn't run around naked like they do."
I don't know what quote you're referring to. I'm not aware of any quote like that. Listen, I am a happy member of the Bohemian Grove. I like the folks who come there, and it's really inappropriate for me to talk about the group beyond that. Thank you.
Have you been there for the ceremony with the cremation of care?
Frankly, I don't think that's something I need to talk to you about.
Really?
That's right.
But what about the ritual? Is the ritual genuinely?
Sir, everything. I don't owe you this comment.
I know. I appreciate it.
This is what's called ambush journalism, and I disrespect you for that as well. So thank you and goodbye.
Been in the ritual?
That's none of your damn business.
Fun time in the woods, or secretly shaping policy? And is there such a group that is controlling the world stage? The Bilderberg Group. That most conspiracy theorists know little about it, except that every year, the most powerful people in the world meet in secret. The security is heavy, including snipers. The press is never invited, and the powerful world elite are not allowed to discuss the outcome of the conference. Here, a YouTuber visits the 2014 Bilderberg Conference in Copenhagen.
So we're in Copenhagen. On site, this is the Marriott Hotel in the background, where allegedly the Bilderberg Conference is taking place. We are standing on the protest area, and you can see there are not too many protesters there, but maybe we can start a riot nevertheless.
We've seen Ed Balls, the British Shadow Chancellor, seen James Wolfenson, Henry Kissinger. We got a picture of him driving in. So yeah, we've seen, probably identified a dozen or more attendees already.
Diederik Samson, a politician from the Netherlands and Bilderberg attender, answers some questions from protesters.
Can you confirm or deny if Bilderberg is part of policymaking process, transnationally or multinationally speaking, or global governance, if you will, is this part of the policy-making process in your view?
I deny the fact that there is the policy-making process as such, but
Consensus.
going in there learns me something. I'm going out of there
with certain narratives, right?
I go out of there with new information.
Would you support a referendum around the world demanding openness from Bilderberg?
Well, that would be nice, but I don't think it's the most important issue to vote on. I think there's more important issues to vote.
Who oversees Bilderberg? Who oversees all your talks?
Well, basically, Bilderberg is a meeting in there. I'm walking outside. You oversee me. Well, not the Dutch people oversee me.
Could Bilderberg be pulling the strings of the entire world? Or is it all just conspiracy theories? We've seen evidence of secret societies and witnessed some strange rituals. Next on Proof, our experts on each side debate whether the Illuminati and other secret societies both exist, and if they are ruling the world behind the scenes. We've heard a lot about secret societies, but do they really control the world? One person who believes they do is our expert believer, Hugh, who is a former government operative and whose identity has been hidden for his safety. Our expert skeptic is James Underdown, Executive Director at the Center for Inquiry in Los Angeles and founder of the Independent Investigations Group.
The secret societies, to probably understand the concept associated with secret societies, is a trace into the origins and the abstractions ever since. Fundamentally, if you go back to the 18th or 19th centuries, you'll find, first of all, the Illuminati, which is probably the most pronounced version and exists to this day. You can join it. That was followed by the Freemasonry in the 19th century, very, very popular in about 1822 as an outgrowth of effectively trade unionism.
I think the general idea behind secret societies is that there are small groups of people who secretly are controlling all kinds of different things, be it the banking world, Hollywood, world governments. It would be impossible to control the entire process of how laws are made, money is spent, and big influence is wielded. It's just impossible to do.
It's one thing to be public. We are the Illuminati. In fact, they advertise on the web. If you want to join them, you can sign up on the web.
I don't believe the Illuminati exists today. It did at one point, and it was snuffed out pretty soon after it started. I think the idea that they still exist today is fanciful, and there's just not a lot of evidence to support that.
Back in those days, and especially in the 18th and 19th century, everything sort of had a political agenda, and it was a guilt by association. So things were made secret, and all of the proceedings, the initiation proceedings, which to this day remain secret, the methods of communication remain secret, obviously the membership remains secret, and to this day it's the same, so that hence the secrecy falls with that. All of the so-called secret this and secret that goes on in the initiation is all related in some way, shape, or form to character. Who are you? Where did you come from? What do you believe in? Who nominated you? Why are you here, in other words? They all surround that effectively. Now, there are some societies, such as the Freemasons, that have different rights. It depends on which rite you belong to, and they're simply variations of the theme. There's a York rite and a Scottish rite and the Freemasons.
Rituals have been a part of humanity for millennia at least. I mean, you see this among army groups, you see it among football teams, you see it among fraternities, you see it among all sorts of different things. It's not surprising that something similar like that would be practiced by Freemasons or any other group to make people feel special and a part of something that everyone else is not a part of.
It has more to do with business dealings because, anything that's done in the dark probably is not going well. And you can be pretty sure that because they're protected from oversight so much, it's unbelievable. A lot of secret things go on that influence day-to-day life of absolutely everybody. Politics, money, If I want to get a business loan, for instance, in real estate in New York, believe me, join the Masons.
If you're talking about the type of power that they allegedly wield, that takes money, that takes all sorts of different influence. There's the Freedom of Information Act. There's lots of different ways to find out how decisions are being made, where money starts from and ends up. I don't think these groups could ever really circumvent our governmental systems.
The government and the policy is all being controlled. To a certain extent, when you gather people together in a room that have power and influence, whether they be intellectual, political, or whatever, to a certain extent you can exert that influence just by simply forming a cabal of some sort and deciding, let's do this, let's do that. So they are the birthplace of a tremendous amount of business dealings, money lending, stock trading that is rather suspicious, but definitely anything that has to do with political change in the environment.
Let's say the highest placed person, a president, the president could not just then go erase parts of our democracy or start spending money willy-nilly on things without an appropriation from Congress or the knowledge of the American people. It just couldn't happen. The way the system works is that there is transparency and there are checks and balances to our government.
Politicians, significantly, business leaders, the wealthy, a limited amount the intelligentsia, certainly diplomats. I was recruited in that very fashion at a meeting of diplomats, of all things, in the Capitol, and brought together and said, you know, you could really help us out. And I went to some of the meetings and understood, well, this is how it goes. And that, of course, lent into business deals, how to get a loan, a whole bunch of things that didn't follow any normal practice that you would see in the public.
Take a law, a simple law, has to be introduced in committee. It has to be voted on and approved in committee. Then it has to go to the floor of Congress. Then it has to go to the floor of the Senate. Then it has to be approved by the President of the United States. Most people take civics classes in 8th grade in the United States and have forgotten everything they've learned about their civics classes.
People that have an observation that they're not secret anymore and they're very public, that's the difference between who they are versus what they do. Who they are is relatively public. That's not that difficult. And with the invasive press that we have now, and just the internet among many other things, it's relatively easy to find a membership list for people. The reality is what they do is not particularly open and subject to scrutiny.
People believe in these conspiracies for lots of different reasons. I think a large part of it is they just don't really understand the mechanics of how things work, and that's a problem. The other problem is it removes personal responsibility when you think someone else is in control of everything else, including what happens in your own life. If your life isn't going well, you don't have a good job, you don't have a good whatever is happening in your life, it's a lot easier to blame some tiny cabal somewhere in some dark hidden room that's causing the failures in your life.
The key with secret societies definitely is not who they are or who are members. It's what they are doing as members, as a group. What is the initiative? What is the agenda? And people like myself are hired to identify that agenda.
You've heard our experts. Is your freedom of choice a reality or a lie? Does your vote matter at all? Do secret societies rule the world? Or do you need more proof?